Hi everybody, welcome to week 3. So this week we are working on and then finishing your first essay and also revising your diagnostic essay, and then no rest for the weary. As soon as you're done with that, you get started on your next section of readings. So lots to think about. So let's look at it really quickly. So we left off Sunday night with you turning in your body paragraphs, and I will grade those as quickly as I can so that you get feedback, and then do Monday night. So please make sure you're right on top of it. You need to start thinking about where you're going to take your body paragraphs. So the original assignment for the body paragraphs was no evidence, just your own analytical arguments. Hopefully you did that. Now you're going to start thinking in this assignment about what evidence there is that you can use. So now you're going to start, oh, cat behind me. You're going to start pulling quotes and thinking about which evidence will work with the points that you're trying to make. So you want to make sure that your evidence is relevant to the point you're making and that it will fit in nicely and you'll be able to enhance your writing with these quotes. Okay? We also have a little check-in assignment, so don't forget about that. And then on Tuesday, you've got a bunch of readings, and these are all about like how we take our evidence and incorporate it into our writing in a way that is effective, where you're not just relying on the evidence to speak for itself. You have to remember that two people can use the exact same quote for very different reasons. So when you include a quote, you want to follow up with explanation that makes your reader see the evidence the way you want them to. Okay, so look at those readings. I have a little video about MLA format. If you have never studied this before, you'll want to watch this carefully. One thing got left out, so there's this very brief little thing here about something I didn't mention in the video. And then you do have an MLA quiz. Now the MLA quiz is not timed because I want you to make use of the resources that I provide you with, because no one expects you to memorize everything about MLA format. It is the sort of thing that you need to look up because there are so many little possibilities, hypotheticals, and different kinds of sources and stuff. So unless you're an English teacher, and even like me, and I remember a lot of it. I don't know everything by heart. I know a lot of it just because I teach it every semester. But unless you're that, you should not have to memorize everything. So you're going to use the sources I provide you with to look up the answers. So you should get it right if you put in the time and effort to actually research. And then also your body paragraph second draft is due. So this is you taking the paragraphs you already wrote with feedback from me, so you may need to make some changes there, and then you're incorporating evidence and follow-up analysis. So you're going to go from like 4 or 5 sentences to like 8 to 10 to maybe even a little bit more. So those paragraphs are really going to get bigger and hopefully in a good way. And then I will grade those as quickly as I can. There are some readings. And then you're going to write the first draft of your introduction. So Tuesday's a very busy day, so make sure that you're on top of that. Wednesday, you're not going to be able to see this yet, but I will be showing you some sample body paragraphs that are strong so that you can get some feedback and then look at what other people have done and see if it works. And then your rough draft is due. Now, this shouldn't be too much work because you should already have done 2 drafts of your body paragraphs, right? And 1 draft of your introduction. So really, it's just taking what you already had, putting in some fixes because I'm giving you feedback all along, and then putting it all together into one document. Okay. Then Thursday, we participate in peer review. So this is going to be something where you are automatically assigned a peer review. And I do give you guidance on this because sometimes people have a hard time figuring out how to do it. So please make sure you read here. It says finding your peer review assignment. So on Thursday, as of like 12 a.m. Thursday, Canvas is automatically going to assign you a partner. So you come back to the assignment page where you submitted your rough draft, and this would link you there. Next to where it says that you submitted, there's like a little check or something. There will be someone's name right here. I've blacked it out because it was a real person. And that is the person who you're partnered with. There is a hyperlink. All you have to do is click on their name, and Canvas is going to take you to their essay so that you can read it. Okay, so that's really easy. Also, you should be able to see it in your module. It'll say required peer review and then a name there. So either of those places. Once you have that, you are going to read their draft, and you are going to, you can annotate. You don't have to. You're going to answer a bunch of questions, okay? I think, whoops, oh, it went a little crazy there. 7 questions, okay? If you do not answer these questions, you don't get credit for doing the rough draft, or for doing the peer review. So make sure you do answer all of them. Don't just write like, hey, good job, and leave it at that. You need to answer the question specifically in the comments box so that I can see your answers. That's how I know you did the work. Just a reminder that if you do not do a rough draft, then you don't get credit for a rough draft, and you can't participate in peer review. So you're losing points for 2 big assignments. So please make sure that you remember to do both, or do the rough draft, and then automatically you should do the peer review. All right. And then in addition, you have your intent to revise worksheet. That's for your diagnostic essay. And you have some readings about conclusions and proofreading. Friday, essay number 1 is due. Okay, but by then you will already have written a rough draft. You've gotten peer review feedback. So I will not be reading your rough drafts, just so you know. So the feedback you get from me is on your first and second your body paragraph, first and second draft, and on your first draft of your introduction. Then you get peer response, and then you're on your own. Okay, so you turn it in Friday, you're exhausted, you have a good night's sleep, and then you come right back and you do grammar. We've got more punctuation, and your diagnostic essay revision is due. A reminder, it's mandatory. If you do not revise your diagnostic essay, you lose 10 points from the original diagnostic essay assignment. So if you got a 70 on the original, you will get a 60. It will replace the 70 because I will take away those 10 points. If you do the diagnostic revision, you could get any amount of improved grade. You could go from a 25, which is a failing grade, to a 95, which is a very high A, okay? It just is about how much work you do. So please make sure you do that, do the revision, and then also fill out the worksheet. And then for Sunday, you have a big reading assignment, okay? It's only 1 reading assignment, but it's long, so make sure that you read it. You are going to do another group annotation on perusal. Sorry, I forgot what it was called for a minute. Pay attention here because the reading is so long, sorry, that got messed up for a second. Because the reading is so long, I've broken it into 5 sections, okay? So pages 1 through 15, 15 through 20, 20 to 32, 32 to 39, and 40 to 50. For each of those sections, you have to do annotations. So, so for each section, you're going to do these things, which means that you will have, you will have at least 15 annotations when you're done. So just pay attention to that and make sure that you do that correctly. I think it's a very interesting reading. I hope you enjoy it. It will take you a little while. It's, like it said right there, 50 pages long. So take your time and read it. You do not need to submit your annotations, like pictures of your annotations like we've done on previous assignments, because it's so long. I don't want you to have to upload all those pictures. So you'll do that. You have a quiz. Make sure that you take the time to take that quiz and to do well on it. And then you have a discussion post that is based on the concept of golden lines, which is something from a pedagogical approach called reading apprenticeship, where it's about picking a line that speaks to you, that you find very interesting, or you really agree or disagree with strongly, and then kind of explaining why. So I think this is a video, I forget. Check out this page, find out the information about what a golden line is, and then do the discussion questions. Okay, so busy week. Lots to do. Please keep your eyes open for feedback from me. One thing that happened a lot last week, many times, I got emails from people, oh, I submitted this assignment to the wrong assignment, or I misunderstood this, or I did something this. There were a lot of I made a mistake with an assignment kind of emails. And I understand that there's a lot going on. But what I was not receiving any, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do, or I don't understand where I'm supposed to submit this emails. I was getting everything after the fact. And so that tells me you're waiting until the last minute to do assignments, you're not reading carefully, and then you're just submitting and then only realizing later that you did it wrong. It's much better to read carefully, figure out that you don't understand something, and ask me a question ahead of time than to do something incorrectly and then try to get help. There's the saying, it's always better to ask forgiveness than permission, which is like, do the bad thing and then ask for forgiveness rather than asking if you can do the bad thing. Not the same in this class. It's better to ask for help than to ask for forgiveness and, a retry afterwards. So read through everything carefully. If you don't understand what you're supposed to do, if you don't understand where you're supposed to find information or how you're supposed to do something, ask me. Pronto, email, come to my office hours in some form, come get help. Okay? That's going to make you be more successful, because I am less forgiving when I get these emails. Oh, it's 11:52 and it's due in 8 minutes and I don't know how to do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, why did you wait until 11:52? I understand that you're busy, but you had time this week to look ahead and think about things and figure out what's going on. And if you don't have that time, then there's something going wrong with your life. You're too busy, you're taking on too much. And it's okay if my class is one too many things and you need to drop or something. But if you're trying to balance this class with work, with home and family, you need to figure out time that you can dedicate to this class in a timely manner. All right. This is my job. This is your job. We need to work together. So that said, I hope this week goes smoothly for you, and I will see you soon. Bye.